Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching a clip from the Sideline podcast. If you're interested in watching the full show, head over to Spotify and whilst you're there, leave a 5-star review. It would be very much appreciated. But for now, enjoy this little segment.
I tell you what probably has bugged us both this season, though.
Okay.
And it's something we haven't spoke about that much on the podcast so far.
I'm trying to think.
VAR.
Yeah.
Do you think VAR should be scrapped?
I think you're going to hate me for saying this. I'm sorry, I can't give like a straight answer because it's difficult to. I think if it is guaranteed to go on exactly how it's being used now, you scrap it. But I think if you use it exactly how it's been used in the World Cup, the Euros, international tournaments, you keep it. I think VAR, I don't think VAR's the issue. I think it's the officials using it. I
do see that point.
I've complained about officials in England so many times. We have the best league in the world, yet we have the worst officials in the world. I don't understand how a screen's going to help worst officials make a better decision. And I don't... Sometimes it makes me so confused on when it's going to get used, how it's getting used, what's being said. So I think one thing that I will say that could improve it massively, and which we were shown... I think it was before the Newcastle-Leicester game, I believe, is how VAR's being used and the communication between VAR and the official. But please, do you understand where I'm coming from, or are you fully against it?
No, I mean, I completely get your argument in terms of it can be used better, and I've got some ideas on how that can happen. But for two... simple. I just want rid of it. I just want it gone. And the first thing and the main thing is fan experience. We've scored goals this season where I haven't celebrated. Rightly so sometimes because it's been given offside or disallowed for a handball or whatever else ridiculous thing I've looked at, or not given a penalty because his hand was moving away from it. But if a striker was to be in the box and his hand was moving away from a ball, but it still hit his arm and went in, it would be given anyway as a handball, but it's not if it's a defender.
But can I ask quickly, I'll let you carry on, I just want to ask while I've got it in my head. If Newcastle a win away from, no, say a draw away from top 4 this season, and obviously you'd still be happy with Europa League, but let's just say you're a point away from top 4, all you need is a point. You 1-1 against... Who did you play last game of the season? Chelsea. Yeah. You 1-1 against Chelsea as you were. All you need is 1 point for top 4. Chelsea score. It's given by the official. It's a mile offside. Would you want VAR to come in that to intervene?
But obviously you would if it's that way around. But what bugs me is Newcastle had a goal this season where
Forest, I think if you're on about
two defenders tried to clear the ball. The second defender who tried to clear it hit it off Longstaff, who was in an offside position. But the law says that if the ball's played intentionally, which it was twice, then it's not offside because the defenders have had 2 attempts to clear it, and it's then come off an offside player and bounced back into when you. The law pretty much said that it should have been onside, but it was still given offside because we didn't even know the rules. And I know that backs up your theory of the officials aren't good enough, but just going back to my original point, it's the fan experience. Fans can't celebrate goals. Fans are scared to get excited that they might be 1-0 up or they might have got an equaliser and you're waiting for some idiots in a box somewhere who are slowing things down to the point where I don't care what anyone says, right? If you slow any pretty tough tackle down, it looks worse.
Oh yeah, 100%.
In a handball, if you slow it down, it looks more deliberate. Stop slowing things down. Look at it in real time again and again and again and make a decision there so you can at least make, a genuine decision of what it looked like in real time and what the, impact of that was in real time. But I hate that it's taken away from my fan experience. I hate it when my team score a goal and I'm looking at the 4th official, and then I'm looking at the linesman, then I'm looking at the referee, I'm looking at their goalkeeper to see if he's having a word with a ref. I'm looking at their captain. I'm looking at their defenders. And I'm not actually enjoying the fact my team's just scored a perfectly good goal. because I'm so worried that VAR is going to find someone's toenail offside or something like that. Like, it just really, really bugs us in terms of how much is taken away from a fan
I
experience.
think to get rid of that, I think if something's so tight where you have to do these lines, I think you don't bother then. You just give it.
Just make the lines thicker. Literally,
Well, yeah, and that.
make the lines thicker, and if the lines overlap, he's not offside. But if there's a clear distance between the lines, it's offside.
But I think some rules as well need to be changed to benefit VAR, like the whole his armpits offside. I think that's a joke. Like, I get you could score with that part of your body, but I just think stuff like handball and offside rules need to be changed drastically because it's. I don't know whether it needs to change or needs clearing up to officials because it changes week in, week out on what the rule is, how it gets given.
I would just do what cricket does. Like, literally, a captain gets like 2 or 3 appeals, and it's not used otherwise. Say we concede a goal as Newcastle, right? Botman's tried to step up, and he's going mental, saying it's offside. If the captain goes over and says, was he offside? Is this worth appealing? We only get 2 appeals, and if we get it wrong, we lose an appeal, which leaves us 1 left. Do you honestly think he was offside? Or was your right foot playing him on? And if Botman says appeal it, then the captain goes to the referee and says, look at that one, please. That's the one we want you to spend time looking at. Don't start slowing down handballs and tackles and did he intentionally clear it off 3 players before it fell to somebody's feet? And it just, honestly, it bugs the life out of us. We just look for things sometimes, or it feels like we just look for things. What has helped a little bit was when Howard Webb started coming out and we've started to hear the audio, haven't we, in terms of, like, this is what we're thinking, this is what we're looking at. That's helped a little bit because I thought the handball, Newcastle v Arsenal, I thought definite handball, but hearing them say, well, he's pulled his arm out the way, okay, he's trying to move it, it's come off his thigh first.
Well, even that you're on about...
I don't agree with it, but I understand it now, which is important for fans. And the reason I don't agree with that decision is because if it was a striker and the ball was coming across the box and he's put his knee out to score a goal, but it's come up off his thigh and hit his hand, which he's trying to pull away, and it went in the goal, we would definitely disallow it for handball. Yeah. So why aren't we giving penalties? I still disagree with the decision, but just them releasing the audio as a Newcastle fan and feeling like my team got robbed, I disagreed with the decision, but I did think, well, you know what? I understand your thought process. You're not just trying to rip off Newcastle. You genuinely thought it wasn't a handball, so okay. I get it. So I quite liked that we did that. And then that kind of leads me to a point as well. Do you think referees should have to have a post-match interview?
Oh, 100%. I've had enough of ex-referees going on Sky Sports, having their input. Rules have changed since then. Officials see the game completely different to what they did back then. Mm-hmm. So just interview them. Just give them questions about why a goal was disallowed, why they allowed it.
I would normally agree with you, but the problem is we would never interview a referee unless we made a terrible decision. So someone like Jared Gillett, I think it's Gillett, Jared Gillett, the Australian. Mm-hmm. Someone like him would never get interviewed because he rarely makes mistakes, and we wouldn't interview him to give him a pat on the back and be like, wow, that was a great call you made. What was going through your mind there? That question would never be asked. It would always be, what on earth were you thinking given that? And I feel like it's unfair because at the end of the day, referees are humans.
Yeah.
And I feel like no media or press, if this first came about of referees having interviews, no media or press would actually go to the referee and say, by the way, great referee in there to book him for diving and then play the advantage, B score, and then you booked him after they've scored. Well done, great decision. What was going through your mind when you made that? Nobody would ask that question. It would always be looking at the negatives, and it would be like interviewing a footballer, but only interviewing the footballers who score own goals or make mistakes.
Yeah.
And that would be harsh because then they've got to come out and, I mean, you see James Maddison at points this season looked on the brink of breakdown. He give a pass away and give a goal away, and they interviewed him. I thought, this is brutal. This, like, the guy looks like he's about to break into tears. He's clearly devastated, and he's coming out having to talk about how his mistake cost his team. And I feel like if we interview referees, we would need to stroke the ego a bit and say, wow, what a great decision that was. And I'm not too keen at doing that either. I probably wouldn't go for interviewing referees just for that reason.
think now you've said that, I think if it does stay balanced and we are going to point out the positives, which I think we should, because some referees make. I mean,
there's not many. There's only Gillett and Oliver. I know you would disagree with Oliver, but there's only Jared Gillett and Michael Oliver, in my opinion, who actually make really good decisions.
No, but even linesmen, like bringing them up, having. Because I won't want to be a linesman, like referee, maybe, but a linesman to try without VAR, but try and be a linesman, try and get it bang on whether he's onside or offside. I won't want to do that, so interview them.
Imagine Roy Keane's reaction to somebody praising a linesman for giving an offside.
He's just doing his job.
Just doing his job, right? He's clearly just doing his job.
But yeah, I think overall, VAR should stick around if it's going to get improved or things are going to change. If it is 100% going to stay exactly how it is, scrap it now. I think now you've said that and having this conversation, I think I would scrap it because I think there's more stuff that needs to be improved to make it good.
I was going to say that.
It's easier to just scrap it.
It's easier to scrap it and just get referees more like... So Jared Gillett, right? Anybody who's listening to this can go on YouTube. He agreed to get mic'd up during his last A-League game in Australia.
I know you're exactly on about, yeah.
He gets some stuff wrong, right? But it's amazing listening to a referee be so polite. He's like, he runs over to a player who's blocking a free kick. He's like, look, that's an easy yellow, Howard. Don't make us give you an easy yellow. Just get away. And you think, bloody hell, the referee's actually talking sense. And then there's another one where I think VAR's in play, and he's saying again, the players are surrounding him, and he's like, look, just give us 2 minutes. This is what I've seen. This is what I think I've seen. I think you've went in late on him. We just need to check it. Just give me 2 minutes. If you haven't went in late on him, you've got nothing to worry about. And it's like he's just talking to the players normally, and he's talking to his linesman. He's like, what have you seen there? Was he offside? Did he interfere with play type thing? And you listen to him and you think, what a referee. And he's had his season in the Premier League this year, and he's been incredible. Like, we just need to scrap VAR and get more referees like that. Like, bring them in from France, Germany, Australia, wherever they're from. If they're good referees, it doesn't matter. I don't care if they're English. Like, we just need the best referees and to scrap VAR.
Yeah, I think if we are going to scrap VAR, don't continue as we are. Get rid of the officials. Bring in foreign officials that have no biasness towards English clubs, that aren't scared of whatever stadium they're playing in, because I don't care what anyone says, referees or swayed by fans. Yeah. Just... we've had the debate on whether this is the best league in the world, but regardless of whether you do or don't, the officials are possibly the worst in the world.
100%. What bugs me is, there is positives to VAR, right? Like, I get it. If my team need a point, exactly what you said before, I want VAR there, I want them to give it offside, I want them to come to the right decision. But I just feel like the negatives outweigh the positives. Like, how long does some VAR calls take? Like, there was offside towards the back end of the season. I was texting my mate, and I was like, he's clearly offside. And it took them 3 minutes to draw a line and see he's offside.
Oh, yeah, and the players suffer for that as well.
It's taken so long, and what makes it worse is the fans aren't just getting ripped off by having their experience ruined, by the way. Mm-hmm. They're getting ripped off by a VAR decision taking 5 minutes and only 1 minute getting added on at the end. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the fans are only watching 58 minutes of football, and on top of that, like, you can't celebrate goals because you don't know if it's going to be disallowed. You can't rub it in that the flags went up when the other team scored, or give them a bit of grief because it might be given onside. There's just too many negatives and the outweigh the positives for me. It's so annoying. If you're going to keep it, you've got to change so much about it. I think you've got to go for 3 appeals each, and only the captain makes that decision. So the captain talks to the players, what really happened there? Did you foul them or not? Because if you didn't foul them, it's absolutely pointless reviewing it. I feel like it would help not slowing things down. And, you know, like, you slow anything down, it looks worse. You slow down a tackle, any tackle, it looks worse than what it does. Same with handballs and all that stuff. I get this whole don't put the flag up in case he's offside, but I've seen linesmen not put the flags up. Like, 30 seconds be played, and then it turns out he's miles offside.
Well, it's risk of injuring players, or just making them run for no need when they're obvious offside.
The keeper comes out, clatters DCL, he's out for the rest of the season, Everton go down, it's cost him. I get why they've been told to keep the flag down, but it also makes assistant referees referee the game differently because they know VAR's there, so they know they can fall back on it. So everyone who says, "Oh, but look at all these decisions which have been corrected," that point isn't valid because referees referee the game differently. They might not give a foul now because they know VAR is there to give a penalty.
That's another thing that I think referees' egos are too big that they don't want to. No, sorry, other way around. Sorry, I don't think they've got the balls to stick with their decision. I think if they are referred to the VAR screen, they are going to change their mind. Or if they get spoken to by VAR, they are going to change their mind. They don't trust their own instinct. They trust the people. Yeah. Which, I get it. They are watching on multiple angles, multiple screens. But if you make that decision, you should back yourself as a referee. Yeah. You have that job. You have them badges. You've been doing this for years. Back yourself rather than trusting technology that doesn't work half the time.
It's just difficult to referee a game how you normally would, because if somebody gets wiped out in the box and you think, "Oh, I think that's a penalty," but the good news is if I don't give it, VAR will give it.
Mm-hmm.
So then it manipulates for stats, and you get all these people online saying, "Oh, but look how great it is. It's overturned 41 decisions which wouldn't have been given." Well, they would have been given if VAR wasn't there because it was obvious. The reason we didn't give it is because VAR is there, so we've got it to fall back on. If that makes sense.
No, yeah.
It's safer for them sometimes not to give it, because if they give it, like, and the other team were to go up and score, but we give a penalty which is overturned and a counter-attack was on, the other team will be fuming saying, "Well, we had a counter-attack there which we don't get back now because you gave a penalty and it wasn't a penalty, and now we get a free kick." So he doesn't give it, the other team go counter-attack, don't score, and then VAR pull it back for a penalty. It's completely affecting the way referees can referee the game. There's too many things which need changing. There's too many...
Can I just say, while we're on about rules and pathetic stuff in football, I kind of get it, but it's being took advantage of. The whole stop the ball when a player's holding their head. The amount of times that someone's been tackled, been kicked in the leg, and they've gone down holding their head, so the referee stopped playing, it's gone back to, like... Just not even just that rule. I think some of the rules in English football is a joke,